This is a video on a drill sharpening jig. About 25 years ago, a friend of mine showed me a magazine, had a prototype of this in the magazine. I made it that afternoon and I've been carrying it around ever since. I really like it. You just put a drill bit in there, clamp it down. There's some lines to line stuff up. I'll show you this in a little bit more detail later. And then I take a rough stone like that, and then a fine stone on the other side. Turn the lip around to the other lip. Rough stone and the fine stone. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Gets a really nice drill bit. And we'll do one and take it over to the drill press in a minute. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about jigs. I come to find out I have quite an affection for jigs. I didn't realize it until I realized how many there actually were. This is a jig I use just to make 60-degree bits for cutting threads. And then on the back side, this is for cutting the threads. This is for doing Acme threads. I stopped making the metal ones because I get such a good deal out of the wooden ones. Here's a wooden one I use for my lathe bits. It's got a 10-degree and an 80-degree thing on it. You can flip it either way. This is a right-handed bit here. You just put it on there like that. Then you can get your front relief. And then over here like that, you get your side relief. I do the top relief by hand. These over here, these are the pressure angles that I need for gear hobbing, making different gear hobs. And I like the wood. They last forever. These over here, these are kind of interesting. They hook on the end of my the motor on my my motorized grinder, and they set the table to different heights, different tilts. This one sets it at 5 degrees. This one sets it at 15. This one sets it at 8 for different things that I do a lot of grinding that way. The table, I can't see the marks underneath the table when I'm doing it, so this just puts it right into position for me. Alright, let's get back to the drill bit jig. There's a lot of geometry that's really complicated on drill bits. You'll hear people talking about lip clearance and point angle and rake angle and clearance angle. And this is kind of a pretty simple way to do it. And I can look all that stuff up on Google, and I pretty much understand how it works when I look it up, but I just kind of go by this. I have a Derrick's M3 sharpener I bought at auction a couple years ago, and if I break a bit, I use the Derrick's, or if it's a really complicated grinding job, I use the Derrick's. But for every day, I use this all the time. And I don't use any of the complicated double pointed or any of that stuff. None of the fancy things that the Derrick's can do. I don't use any of it for that. It's pretty much wasted on me, I guess you could say. With a sharpening jig like this, it got me a little spoiled. When I put a little drill bit like this up against a grinding wheel, I feel like I'm attacking it with a chainsaw. All you need is a couple of swipes on a good stone, and you know, it'll be fine. It's fine. This one here, this jig, if you've never ground a drill bit before, this is a good way to learn, and it'll help you. And it's really simple, and I'll show you just a second here. But first, let's dress up the stone. You don't have to dress the stone every time you use it, but should just show you how to dress a stone real quick. I use this marble now. I started out with just a piece of glass. The glass broke, and I found a piece of marble. And all I use, I've already done this, so I don't have to do it, but I get a piece of wet dry paper, put it on there, put your flat on it. You want tons of water. Soak this in water, and then you're going to put your heel down here. You're going to add a lot of pressure, and you're just going to grind it in circles or however you like, and then take it off and wash it again. Put it under running water. Keep doing it until your surface is nice like that. And you could even leave a little over there, but you're going to get a nice flat surface with it. And that's the first thing you got to have to be able to use the drill bit. All right, let me get into a closer up thing so I can show you a little more detail. Okay, I've got a 3/8 inch bit in here, and that's about the largest bit I use here. I do the 1/2 inches, and see that cut? That's your cutting edge right there. That's it. Let me get a better picture of it. See that edge right there? And you want that edge to line up with the line here. So we'll just twist it just a little bit. Yeah, and there we go. So now we got it all lined up, and now we're ready to swipe it back and forth. And then when you're done, you flip it around, and there's your other cutting edge. And you line that up with the line, so it's lined up right across there. And you give it a couple of swipes. Those cutting edges are called lips, and think of them like little chisels. They're digging out the wood. A couple of swipes, and you can see how much better they get as far as clean goes. Let me just take a magic marker here. Alrighty, there's the cutting edge of your drill bit right there, and it's marked right up with that line. I marked it with a magic marker so it's black, and then if you flip it over, there's your other cutting edge. There's a magic marker on that too. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to swipe it with the stone a couple of times. I'm going to have to shut it off because it won't stay in focus. So let me just stop for a second, run a couple of things on it, and I'll show it to you. Here's another little handy thing that this is good for. If you turn your bit and you turn it just a little bit more like that, so that it's not quite following this line here, you get a more aggressive bit. And if you back it back like this a little bit, you get a less aggressive bit. So you can actually play with it because you have a starting place. But that gives you a good all-around bit. Now you want to try to do, when you're swiping your lips, you want to try to swipe them the same amount of times so that you're keeping your center where it needs to be. And if any time you go out of center, let me just show you another little jig here that I bought. It's a start, but it's a good little jig to have when you're messing around with drill bits. Alright, this is a start drill bit gauge. You fit it on a 6-inch rule. It gives you the 59 degrees that you need to figure out the center point of your drill bit. And you put them like that. And you can do the other side like that. And you make sure that everything's lined up so that your center is still where it needs to be. It's a nice little jig to have around. I'd never built one because they're pretty cheap to buy. But when you're doing drill bits, especially if you're going to use a grinding wheel and do them, it's best to have one of these to make sure you haven't made the point wander. Alright, let's take this bit over to the drill press and give it a shot. Alright, we're over here at the drill press, and I got the blade we just sharpened in the press, and this is a piece of aluminum, 1/2-inch aluminum, that just a scrap piece I had laying around. There's two lips, or two cutting edges, or two chisels, whatever you want to call them, that are going to be cut on a drill bit. So when you start cutting, you're looking for curled spiral chips coming out of both flukes equally. Alright, they should be about the same. It's kind of hard to see here, but I got the drill down pretty slow, and let me turn it on and we'll see if you can see them. Alright, that's what a good drill bit should do. And now that you've got an idea, I'm going to, if you get any oblong holes, or you get squeaking, or you get any sticking with your bit where it feels like it's sticking, the jig makes short work of setting your bit straight again. I went out the other day at an auction and I got a box of old bits. I paid $5 for them. I don't know how many bits were in there, but man, I salvaged about 95% of them just using the little bit. The derricks did help me with maybe 5 or 10 of them, but this little jig is amazing what it can do. If this piece of aluminum had been stainless steel, without a doubt I'd take the bit and put it through the jig and sharpen it up really nice and get it nice and polished. That stone that I use is rough on one side and it's fine on the other side. Get it up to where I want it with the rough side, flip it over, polish it up. I might even take take an old India stone out and polish it up further. But anyway, this is part one. I just showed you how it all works. I'm going to do a part two, and I'm going to build one. I want to build one of these for a friend of mine, and I'll show you how I build it, and we'll build it together. That'll start that next. Thanks for watching. Bye now.